Whoa, what's up? Yeah, it's a Monday night? Really? Jeez, we're like hanging out. And this was some dinner, you guys. Like, seriously. Everything is just so fabulous. The dessert, like all of you guys. The fun, the laughter, the pauses. Okay. Thank you so much to the Ackerman Institute for this honor, and to my fellow honorees. Like, what a great group of women you guys pulled together. Seriously, it's pretty fabulous. So, and a special shout out to my family, to my familia who's here, my nephew, Scott Bailey Hinojosa, and my son, Raúl Ariel Jesús de Todos los Santos Pérez Hinojosa. That's right. That is his full name. It was on his degree when he graduated. So yeah, it really did start with my mom and dad actually going to family therapy. When my mom, so we're all from Mexico, so we're like really great right now in the United States of America. It's great to be a Mexican immigrant in the United States. I'm just kidding. So when my mom was like, she wanted to go to work. Y mi papá was like, ¿Cómo de qué you want to go to work? You're like, wait a second, no, like that's not what I married you for. And this thing that was happening when we had moved to Chicago and my father was at the University of Chicago helping to create the cochlear implant, just that little thing, we ended up doing family therapy, and that was the thing that saved my parents' marriage. And then actually, I started doing therapy, and when I met my future husband, we've been married now for almost 30 years, within the first 6 months, we were in therapy, which was so cool because it really allowed us to understand some of the seminal issues that were going to come up. My son, who's here, Raúl, was like, yeah, Mom, remember when you would take us to therapy when we were like 8 or 9 years old, and we'd be like, oh, let's go to therapy, you know? I mean, that's what I was doing. I'd do my therapy, they'd wait outside, and then we'd take turns waiting for each other. After September 11th, when Kate Snow and I were together at CNN, and I ended up developing PTSD, which no one ever knew about because no journalist would ever talk publicly about that. But of course, it was my therapist who helped me get through that. And recently, as all marriages do, when my own marriage was like, being really tested, it was my therapist, Cristina, who allowed me to not walk away, and it was the most beautiful decision that I've ever made. It brings particular joy to me to be honored by an organization that looks at demographic change, diversity, and says, yes, it's so exciting! Because most of the time right now as people are looking at demographic changes and they're getting very nervous, and that may explain why we're in the mess that we're in right now, because they're just afraid. And so to have an organization that makes this diversity and inclusion just a central part of what you do means a lot to me, because ultimately what we're really talking about is bringing humanity, right? What we are living with right now is the capacity of dehumanization, and it leads to the horrors that we are all living with, even though we're here celebrating this beautiful moment. I also wanted to, I don't know who it was who has said the different kinds of therapy. Was it Judy who had said that? But so I'm just saying I did light therapy, metaphysical therapy, hypnosis, Reiki, acupuncture, meditation, and recently I go boxing. All kinds of therapy. I also want to give a shout out in particular for a new term that I've learned from you all tonight, which is transliterate. And so I really want to give a shout out to the LGBTQ and particularly the trans community that has taught me so much right now and teaches us all about the possibility of recognizing the other in all of us. And so I just want to thank you so much for taking what is often invisible and making it visible, and for honoring the work that you do by honoring some extraordinary women. Muchas gracias. Have a great night. Thank you.